Hello, in this video I'm going to go through the process of creating and scoring a hybrid bridge tournament. That is a tournament where you have a section playing online and another section playing at a bridge club. Now it goes without saying that the two tournaments must have similar movements, i.e. they both must be two winner Mitchell movements or both be single winner movements such as Howells and arrow switch Mitchells. It would make no sense at all to try and score together tournaments which have different types of movement. So you do have to bear that in mind, and sometimes that can be tricky to arrange if you've got different numbers in these tournaments. So I'm going to show you how you can create a set of hands that can be used both online and face-to-face. And essentially you will need two types of file for this. You will either need a LIN file for BBO or a DUP or DLM file for a card dealing machine. So I'm going to show you how you can generate these. And if you're using RealBridge instead of BBO, you will need a PBN file. So the second part of this video is going to demonstrate how to create these files. I've got two different methods. In the second part of this video, I'm going to demonstrate a couple of methods for generating sets of hands that you can use for both online play and play at a club. The first of these methods makes use of a program called Dealmaster Pro, which you can see here on the screen. Now, I believe that Dealmaster Pro is still available for free from a British distributor, and if you Google Dealmaster Pro, you will come to that website and it should be possible to download this for free. If it's not and there's a charge, then obviously the choice will be up to you as to whether to pay for it, or you may choose to use my second method, which makes use of a website which is free. Assuming you have got Dealmaster Pro, then once it's installed, when you run it, you will get this menu and you should choose the top option, which is to create some random deals for club play. There are three choices here, and it's best to choose the non-batch mode. On this screen, we choose the number of hands that we wish to play for our sessions. I've chosen 24 and I will click on OK. On this screen, you should leave it to be a completely random set of deals for club play. It's possible to put biases on them, but don't do that for club play. And then click on OK. Okay, it's now generated those 24 hands. It's possible on this screen to preview them by clicking on Next, but we don't want to do that. We'll just go straight to Continue and click on OK. And here you are offered the chance to have a statistical summary of the deal. I'm going to click on No. And we get to this screen where we can choose what we would like it to produce. And it's very important that you choose option F here to create files for bridge playing programs. Most of the other stuff you won't want, but if you do want to print stuff, then it's possible to choose those as well. I'm going to just create the files with option F and leave everything else blank. And I'm going to click on OK. And on the final screen, we choose the types of files that we want it to produce. So in the top section, we can produce a file for use on online, for example, on Bridgebase. We need a LIN file, so we would click here. Or if you're playing your tournament on RealBridge, then you would choose this one, which is for a PBN file. I'm going just to select it at Bridgebase in my case. And on the second section, you've got files that you can use for card dealing machines for use at the club. We have a duplicate machine. I'm going to select this option here. So I'm now ready to output those files. Unfortunately, it's not possible to demonstrate the final stage of this, the saving of those two files. The Windows capturing software does not actually capture that properly. So what I would be doing is choosing a location to save each of those files, which might be on a desktop or it might be on a USB key that you would then take to your club with the file for your dealing machine. So I'm going to skip that part of this process. I'm now going to demonstrate how you can generate a set of hands that you can use for your online platform and for your card dealing machine using a free website that I found called PlayBridge. There are, I'm sure, many other websites that you can use, but this one seems to be quite good. I have a shortcut to PlayBridge on my Google homepage, so I'm going to click on that now, and it will take me to this website here, which has a bridge hand generator. And I'm going to click on the Generators button here, and you need to choose the option which is to set the criteria for 2 hands. So I'm going to click on that. And here you should leave everything here at the default setting because you really want it to generate a random set of hands. You don't want to bias the hands in any particular way. All you should choose is the number of boards that it's going to generate, which is here is 24. So I'm going to click on generate. It's now possible to preview those hands by scrolling down here. We don't really want to do that, so I'm just going to go to the bottom of the page quickly by clicking here. And at the bottom of this page, there are options to export the files, or the boards rather, to a file. There are 3 options: to a PBN, which you would need for RealBridge, to a LIN file, which you would need for BridgeBase, and the third option is probably possible to use on many card dealing machines. I'm going to choose the option for LIN. However, just as in the case of DealMaster Pro, I'm not going to go any further than this because if I try and save this file now, it won't be captured on this video. Unfortunately, the Windows software, again, doesn't work for this process. But you would follow the instructions here, which are to right-click on the line and save it, and you would choose a suitable location. So if it's going to be for BridgeBase and on this computer, you would probably save it to the desktop or some location in your documents. If, on the other hand, it's going to be for use on a card dealing machine somewhere else, then you would probably choose to save the file to a USB key. Now, once you've saved one, you need to go back to the list and save the second one. So if you click on this button here, it will take you to the hands again, which you can see, and then you just go to the bottom and you repeat the process, but this time for the other file. So once you've got both files saved, and especially once you've got the file for the BridgeBase, it's now possible to import those files into BridgeBase, and I'm going to demonstrate that next. I'm now going to demonstrate how you can import the LIN file into BridgeBase, and here you can see on the screen I'm ready to log in with the Melville account and for the TD, so I'm going to click on the login button. And you get the normal things on the right hand side of the screen, including a number of tabs. And if I click on the Director tab, I will be able to look at the pending tournaments that I've got. And I've got one for Thursday, the 26th of August. So I'm going to try and import a file into that tournament. In order to do that, I need to go to the Account tab first of all. That will show me my profile. There are a number of other settings that you can change, as you know, but it's the deal archive that we want to add a folder into. So at the moment I've got no folders selected. I'm going to try and add a folder for the file that I've created. Okay, so if I click on that plus button, I can now choose an untitled folder and give it a name. And in this case I'm going to title it 26th of August. I usually find it's a good idea to give the folders an actual name in case I've got more than one. So then I click on the tick button here, and so I now have a folder ready to import to my file. If I click on that folder, there are no deals selected. So I'm going to now go to the bottom of the page and click on Import LIN file. This will bring up a dialog box which allows me to select the file. Now unfortunately this does not get captured by the Windows video capturing software, so I'm just going to choose my file, which I've got on my desktop. And you can now see I've got a file called 26ofAugust.lin, and now I'm ready to import it. So if I click on this import button, I should get a message which tells me that 24 games have successfully uploaded into the folder. So I can close this here now, and if I click on the 26th of August a second time, I can now look at those 24 deals if I wish. If I want to check one, for example, then we've got a board over here. So that's the hands imported into BridgeBase, but I need to put them into the actual tournament. So I now need to go back to the Director tab, choose my tournament that I want to modify, and I'm going to edit this tournament. And on the second tab here, the Format tab, it's possible to select a file instead of using random deals. That's the default. If I click here, I'll be able to use a saved deal. And you can see now my hand folders are showing the 26th of August. You click on it and then click on select. And now it says that it's using saved deals. And the final step is to modify the tournament. So I'm going to click on that. And I get a message at the bottom right saying that the tournament has been modified. So now when that tournament runs on the 26th of August, instead of using random deals, it will use the .lin file that I created earlier. In this part of the video, I'm just going to run over the process of importing the file into your card dealing machine. On this screen you can see the one we have at the New Melville Bridge Club. It's a duplicate machine. I don't have the machine at home where I'm recording this video, so this is just a couple of screenshots. On the computer screen in the image you can see a hand which I would have generated at the club. Okay, so in order to get the file in, you will need to run up the software for your machine, and for this particular machine, this is the software that you get. Now, actually, I'll just change that slightly. You can, of course, if you've got the file on your machine where that software is running and it's a DLM file or a DUP file, then you can simply double click it and it will bring up the software and you can do your dealing in the normal way. If you don't have the DLM file or the DUP file because you don't have DealMaster Pro, then you can actually import a .lin file or a .pbn file as well. They will actually work. You can see on this screen actually that DealMaster Pro has also got a link to it from this particular piece of software. So if the computer has DealMaster Pro installed, you can actually fire that up as well as another way of doing this. So I would be, if I don't have the PBN, the DUP or the DLM file, then what I will do is click on that import button, and if you click on that import button, you get a box in which you can drag and drop a DLM, DUP, LIN or PBN file into that. And if you do that from wherever you've stored it on your memory stick or whatever, you will then get this screen come up for this particular software, which allows you to go to the duplication and click on duplication and auto duplication, and you can start dealing your hands. If you've got a different type of machine, then you will have a different interface and you will have to work that part of it for yourself. I'm sure it will be quite similar. In the final part of this video, I'm going to show you how to merge two result files so that you get an overall result from your two sections, one of which is played on BBO and the other at a section played at your club. I'm going to assume that you know how to use the BBO to XML converter, and that's going to be a vital tool in this process. In fact, I have a shortcut to that on my Google Desktop homepage. But I've already loaded this actually on a different tab, so I'm going to go to that now. And as you can see, I have already loaded the names for our club. I've got 534 names loaded. So it's important that you have that done first, that you put in the club details and the ID number, and that you choose Scotland for your Master Point Awards. Now I'm going to assume that you have an XML file available from the session played at your club, and that you have a CSV file that you have obtained from the BBO to XML, or the BBO extractor, I should say, the BBO extractor, which allows you to get those results from the BBO website onto your computer. So to merge these two together, here is what you do. You go to the menu option at the top, which allows you to import or merge or edit a CSV file, or XML file. So I'm going to click on that now. And I'm going to bring in an XML file. Now you can't see this on screen, unfortunately, because the Windows software does not capture this properly. But trust me, I'm going to just load in a file. And now you can see I've got a result for 14.5 tables. Okay. So that's one section in. They're playing cross imps, they've played 20 boards. I'm now going to merge in a second file. This time it'll be the CSV file that I got from BBO. Again, you won't be able to see this path on the screen, unfortunately, but trust me, I'm just clicking on that now. But what I will get is a little warning here that I'm about to merge files, and it says if you are merging sections, then you click on OK. So I'm going to click on OK, and I now have two lots merged in together, 39.5 tables. And all the names are present, as you can see. That's because I had the names file loaded up before I did this. You should know that anyway if you're regularly using BBO and putting results onto your website. So that's an overall result from the two sections which have been combined and scored across the whole field. Unfortunately, you can't just save this directly as an XML file from this. You've actually got to go through a slightly more tortuous process and save this as a CSV file on its own. So I'm going to now save that as a combined CSV file. And the way it does that is it sends the file as a download to my PC. Okay, so I've got that now in the download area of my PC. If I click on Go Back, I can go back to the beginning, and provided I've got everything else sorted out here, I can now create an XML file. So I create an XML file, a new XML file from the merged download. So I'm going to have to go to the downloads section of my computer, find the latest download, which I have here, which you probably can't see, and then I'll get this message coming up. Says the XML file will be in the browser's download. I will get that, and I will get a warning on my case because it's just protecting me from harmful viruses, but I'm going to keep that file. And as you can see, we've now got master point awards for the 39.5 tables played across the two sections. So that's how you create a combined result from a session played at the club and a session played on BBO. For the demonstration I have just done, I used an XML file that was actually played on RealBridge rather than at the club. At the club, you will need to get the XML file, obviously, and you may be able to do that directly from a ScoreBridge and put it onto a memory stick. Or an alternative way of approaching this is to upload your club result only from the club onto your BridgeWeb's website, and then from the machine where you're doing the merging, go to your BridgeWeb's website, which I'm going to do here, log in as the administrator. So I'm doing here, putting my password, and then logging in, and you will now find there is an option to recover a file. If I click on that recover, I will get a list of recently played tournaments, and you can actually download an XML file. So if you don't know how to get the XML file directly from your PC at the club, this is an alternative way of doing this, so that you've got an XML from your club game and a CSV file from the BridgeBase tournament. So hopefully that's explained the rather long-winded process of combining two files and producing an overall result which has been scored across the field. Thank you for watching the video.